it'll be our first committee vote, so the clerk will call the roll when the time comes, and is the clerk ready to do that?
Yep.
The time comes, okay. We'll
Do we
need
have to
someone to,
Make a motion?
when we get there, yeah. We're also gonna need someone to report the bill on the floor. And plans got a little mixed up, so I'll talk offline with people about finding the right person to do that. It's a pretty straightforward bill, so it shouldn't be a challenge. But generally speaking, when you're reporting a bill on the floor, I will not wait until the last second to speak with you and offline and find out whether you'd be the right person. It gives you an opportunity to make sure you really understand what is happening in the bill, because you'll need to be prepared to answer questions that might come up from other members. And it is not something that I'll throw at you at the last second, but just thinking about the timing of this, if we voted out today, I think will it get on the notice calendar tomorrow? And then Friday, today's Wednesday, so then Friday it would be up for action. So Friday would be the day that we go on the floor and report on it. We haven't had very many bills in the House floor, so we haven't seen this happen at all in very many cases. And those bills that were there didn't generate a lot of debate, as I recall. Not sure that this one will either. But that's just the process. So we have Mike with us in the room, and do you need to come back into the witness chair this morning for anything, do you think, Victor?
I did talk to the general counsel for the department. They interpret that language as giving them regional ban authority and municipal ban authority. She said if you wanted to be more specific, she wouldn't oppose that, but she would want to look at the language.
Okay.
But otherwise, they believe that they have the authority. Regional authority.
Okay. Well, if they believe they have the authority, I think that's probably good enough for us under the circumstances. So are there any other comments or any other questions about the bill? Do we have it? Where is it?
Under today's date.
Under today's date, okay.
Have today's date.
Wednesday.
I said I don't have today's date.
Refresh maybe, because I think I have it. So folks have it under today's date.
Yeah.
It's draft 1.2. See a timestamp on it of 5:50 yesterday afternoon. I think probably the only difference is that when we looked at it yesterday, it was the header had my name on it, and now it's got a committee bill.
Correct.
So what we're going to be voting on is a motion to, we're not recommending the bill as though it had come into our committee and we're recommending it that way. How do we state this motion?
You vote to approve the committee bill for introduction.
For introduction, okay, all right. So I would entertain a motion to approve the committee bill in front of us, which is draft 1.2. The bill numbers, I guess, 230763.
So move.
Hey,
Would you like me to articulate the?
not necessary. Good question, but no, not necessary protocol wise. So Rep. Lipsky has moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Representative Levitt. All right, the clerk can call the roll.
Representative David Durfee.
Yes.
Representative Heather Supranov.
Yes.
Representative Rodney Graham.
Yes.
Representative Jed Lipsky.
Yes.
Representative Henry Pearl. Yes. Representative Charles Wilson.
Yes.
Representative David Templeton.
Yes.
Representative Josie Levitt.
Yes.
Representative Mike Rice.
Yes.
Representative John O'Brien, absent. Representative Esme Cole.
Yes.
Vote is 10-0-1.
10-0-1 in favor.
In favor.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
And
Question?
Yes, Representative Lipsky.
1001 would imply, could imply an abstination, but not being present is different from abstaining for a vote. You might abstain because you have a conflict of interest or, so
Yeah.
is the legal way, rather than say it was unanimous, we're not saying it was unanimous.
You want to come into the chair, Mike, and answer that question? Good question.
So first, you're not supposed to abstain unless you have a conflict. Formally, and usually, when there is a potential conflict, you are advised to consult with the clerk of the house. And she will give you an opinion whether you can abstain or not. There's informal abstention. People just leave. And that's never really been challenged. But that third vote, the third record, is usually just considered an absence, not an abstention.
And just as a reminder, since we do have a member of the committee who's not here today, the House rules do allow committee members who can't be here to join us on Zoom and to participate in any discussion, but they can't vote and they don't count towards a quorum, which might have been an issue last week when we were down to 6. So in any case, yeah, the 10-0-1 indicates that there was somebody who wasn't here. Good. All right. Thanks. Any other thoughts on that, or?
No, not on that question, just on the process for introduction of a committee bill. I sent you the steps. You have 2 options for introducing. You can take it down physically to drafting operations, or you can email your approval. It will go through the editing process like any bill that anyone introduces. So I will look at it again this afternoon.
Okay.
And then it'll probably make it to the calendar this afternoon.
Okay. All right, good.
can I just ask about the conflict? I think we've talked about this before, but like I'm thinking of where there's multiple of us in here that are farmers and we're gonna possibly pass legislation that would affect farmers. Am I right in thinking that a conflict would just be if it's only affecting us personally and not a group of people?
That's correct. It has to be a direct pecuniary or personal interest. And so when you share an interest in a general subject matter with others, including your constituents or citizens of the state as a whole, then you don't have a conflict and you're actually required by the rules of the House to vote. The direct pecuniary interest, I've really only seen it exercise. Well, I've seen people assert what's called Rule 75 conflict many times. And a couple of years ago, it was like a virus. It was on the military pension bill, and everybody that had a military pension got up and said that they had a conflict, and they didn't. But no one challenged their assertion of the Rule 75, because they shared an interest, literally with about 20 people in the body themselves, plus everyone else that has a military pension. It wasn't directly personal or directly pecuniary. I think I said this during the ethics training. The only time I saw it, there was a member and the judge's salary structures were being redone, and her partner was the only judge in one of the salary structures, and it literally had what his salary was going to be. He was basically being asked to vote on her household income, and that would have been a direct pecuniary interest. And so she asserted Rule 75. That's really the only direct time I've seen it. I've seen people do it because of their property tax bill or because they own a second home. Those are all not really appropriate times.
Okay, good. Well, thank you, everybody. Congratulations. Voting out our first bill. We'll take about 2 minutes, 3 minutes maybe, before we go into our